This hour, we'll learn about the two Democrats running for the 1st District seat currently held by Omar Sims, who is moving on to run for a seat in the Michigan House of Representatives. Before I get to the introductions, I want to thank the White Horse and all of you who have gathered here today, whether you are a candidate, pundit, member of the technical teams making this available for replay on radio, the internet, or television, or if you're a member of the audience. Now the introductions. In a moment, I will introduce the candidates. They will be given an opportunity to make brief opening statements, but first, our esteemed panelists. I'll begin by welcoming our esteemed panel of premier political pundits. They are Paul Rozycki from Mott Community College. Paul, good to see you as always.
Good to be here.
And one of my favorite people in the world, George Moss from the University of Michigan Flint. Good to see you, George. And last but not least, in the middle, we have WFNT's own news director, Jason Cooper. Jason, good to see you as well.
Tom, thanks for inviting me.
Now on to the candidates and the rules of engagement. If you don't know by now, there are two Democrats running in the August primary for the 1st District seat on the Genesee Board of Commissioners. They are Bishop Bernadel Jefferson. Bernadel, welcome.
Thank you so much.
Good to see you.
Good to be here.
And also, Flint City Council member Bryant Nolden, who was invited but isn't here. I don't think it's city council business because at least one other city council person is here in the audience. But in a moment, Bernadel, I'll give you 90 seconds for an opening statement, and we'll begin the questions from the panel. There will be an opportunity for a closing statement at the end as well. Now, if we had both candidates here, these rules will apply, and throughout all of the forums that we'll be doing, we're going to try and keep it equal, so try to be, he's here, or he's on his way here. Oh, quick announcement. I guess maybe Councilman Nolan is on his way, maybe just delayed, so we'll add him to the mix when he gets here. Time is tight. We're going to try and keep it equal, so try to be specific and brief when answering. I know that's an oxymoron in any political discussion, but you will have 90 seconds for each answer. When you hear this bell, you have 15 seconds to finish your answer, and we'll start the opening statements with Bernadel Jefferson, and the first question will start with Bryant Nolden. If he gets here in time, we'll adjust as we need to. I caution the panelists, you have 30 seconds in which to set up context for each of your questions. If you get to 30 seconds, you will hear the bell, and I will ask you to ask your question. Now for the opening statements. Remember, Bernadel, you have 90 seconds. When you hear the bell, you have 15 seconds to finish your comment. Please address your comments to the panel or to the audience and not to your opponent. We want a forum, not a debate. Bishop Jefferson, you have 90 seconds for an opening statement.
Good afternoon. My name is Bernadel L. Jefferson. I am the pastor of Faith Deliverance Center, the mother of 10, the wife of one husband, Lathan Jefferson. Been working in this community over 20 years, making changes, causing changes to come. One of the things that I'm proud of, in 2002, they closed the senior citizen facilities, 3 of them, and 2 youth facilities. And in 2003, I formed a group called Caution, Citizens Advocating United Together to Inform and Organize for New Direction. And we got the centers back open. Not only did we get them back open, but they were able to maintain all the things that they had: health, feeding, and socializing. Many times, if we mess with children and seniors, what do we have left? And so it was important to me. The community is important to me to make a difference. I've been fighting for the health of the community. I've been fighting against Citizen Crime Task Force. I am a founder of the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Flint. I've just been working in the community, all over the community, not only in Flint and Genesee County, but in Lansing and in Detroit, because what affects one part of Michigan affects all of Michigan. And so therefore we have to fight to bridge the gap, that we will work on the same page together. Thank you.
Well done. See, I told you it was easy. We're going to move on to the questions. We'll go back and catch up when Councilman Nolden joins us. Paul Rozycki, you have the first question for candidate Jefferson.
All right, let me start off with one of the biggest issues this year has been roads and road repair and all the problems with the roads. What role should the county play in rebuilding Michigan's roads? Would you favor an increase in the gas tax if necessary on the state level? And also maybe a similar question, should the road commission be elected or appointed?
What part would the first question was, would we increase taxes?
Yeah, how would you try to repair the roads in Genesee
I would
County?
take the money that we already have and begin to utilize it. It's important not only for city, but city and county to work together. And the roads are not all city and the roads are not all county, but they join together in order to link us together from one end to another. So therefore, we have to take money from both pots in order to put it together for the same common cause. Not saying I'm paying more than the other, but use that in order to make roads better. Sometimes it's just called a phone call, because there have been many times my husband and myself have called. Driving up and down the street, it's a pothole, it's a manhole big enough for the whole car to fall in, and we've called, went down there to address the issue, and a couple of days it was fixed. And so therefore, we have to have somebody to inspect the roads, not just wait for the cars to get tore up. We know that we had a very bad winter this past winter, and so many of the roads were tore up. And so there ought to be somebody to inspect the roads to see what the hazardous is before we have so much car damage, so much breaking up and potholes. And so therefore, would I impose a tax? We have too many taxes already, so we have to find a way. There are highway issues. The meters is one of the things where we can get money from.
Thank you very much.
Jason, we'll go on to you next. Do you have a question for Bishop Jefferson?
Bishop Jefferson, thanks for being here today. I want to talk a little bit about public safety, not only in the city of Flint, but throughout Genesee County. Obviously, everybody's aware of the issues facing the city of Flint. There are going to be cuts to police and to fire possibly later on this year with the new budget going into effect. If elected county commissioner, what could you see yourself doing to help more with the city of Flint and other maybe police departments throughout the county that are struggling with cuts and public safety issues?
I would do one of the things that I've been doing all along. I was chosen as Citizen Crime Task Force, one of the members of the Crime Task Force a few years ago. I think it was in 2006. And what we did, we went to check out to see what was the problem, because criminals don't become criminals when they turn 18. There's problems that stem from 5, 6, and it begins to grow and sprout out. One is education. We have to work on our education, because if we don't quit putting kids out of school into the street, that's one thing. If we don't begin to man what's being taught, the education, that's another thing. If we don't see if there's a safe haven for our children, are they afraid to walk to school? Are they afraid in their community? What are the safety? One of the things that we initiated was to put the patrol cops back into the community, because when you see an officer that's not just handcuffing somebody but want to be more friendly, we begin to build a relationship. It makes a difference. When there's a problem, they won't be afraid to go to the officer and say, we got a problem. One of the other things, they were afraid that the elderlies, when they called in, they went right to their door. So we have to address the problem, not to put the people that are being harassed or the problem coming from, put them on the spot.
All right. And now we move on to George Moss and your question for Bernadel Jefferson.
I want to, first of all, welcome you to the forum, and thank you for coming. And I want to thank you ahead of time for your service. I want to know, what will you do to develop a hotline or a pipeline to the state? We paid for roads. That's what we pay our driver's license for. And now they're talking about a 19-cent tax on to the gasoline tax to pay for it. And what we notice is that they are rearranging money. You pay one thing to put it in another kitty. What will you do as a council person to open up the lines of communication from the county commission position to the state, where we can have a line of communication back and forth to Lansing?
What would I do? Something I've been doing for last several years, running back and forth up and down the highway, forming a relationship. Because if we don't, being a county commissioner, city council, or state representative, and a lot of people don't know the importance of voting for those offices that will affect our community. And so those three people have to have, those three entities have to have a relationship. It's not good that I know all about the county and don't know nothing about the state. It's not good to know all about the county and don't know nothing about the city or have a relationship. So we have to bridge a relationship between the three to work together in order to make change in our total community, because we're not an entity of one, we're an entity of a united front joined together.
All right, we'll continue on with the questions in just a moment, or actually, maybe we'll take a break here. Councilman Nolden, we went through a round of questions for Bernadel Jefferson, which started with an opening statement of 90 seconds. I'll give you that opening statement now, and then we'll give the panelists each an opportunity to ask you a question. We'll end the round, and then we'll go back and forth, starting in round two, if that's okay with you. You have 90 seconds.
Okay, well, my name is Bryant W. Nolden. I am a candidate for the 1st District County Commissioner's race. I'm Flint Community School teacher, where I've taught in the Flint Public Schools for 23 years. I'm currently the Vice President of the Flint City Council, and I represent Ward 3. I'm very excited about this opportunity to be able to run for this 1st District County Commissioner's race. And one of the things that I'm really adamant about is trying to work to fix these roads that we have here. And also, I'm very interested in shared services and exploring opportunities around that, because we just don't have the resources that we once had. So, just again, I'm Brian W. Nolden, and I do apologize for being late. I was cutting grass in the neighborhood. It's about 15 to 16 lots that I cut in and around my area.
All right, we'll move on to some questions. The first one from Flint's premier political pundit, Paul Rozycki. Go ahead and have your question first.
Question we had followed before. One of the biggest issues this year is roads statewide. What role should the county play in improving the roads in the county area? And in particular, would you favor a statewide increase in the gasoline tax to generate more funds for the roads?
It's a very tough issue when we talk about raising taxes. But when we look at the roads and what despair that they're in right now, I think we have to look at any ways we can to improve the funding for the road conditions, especially in the state of Michigan. With our harsh winter, and especially this last harsh winter that we have, a lot of the roads are in very, very bad shape. So I would definitely have to look at that, and I'm leaning toward yes, but whenever we talk about raising taxes, that's always a hot button topic. But yes, I am in favor of looking at whatever ways we can to try to generate the resources necessary to fix these roads, and that's one of the things that I'm really advocating for moving forward.
Very good, thank you.
You finished within the time frame. I just want to warn you ahead of time, Mr. Nolden, if you hear this bell, you have 15 seconds to finish your answer. Just so you remember how we do things here on our forums. Jason, you have the next question.
Councilman Nolden, thanks for being here today. Wanted to talk, I had asked a question about public safety, not only in the city of Flint, but elsewhere throughout Genesee County. Obviously, we know the issues and the struggles with the city of Flint and the budget, the emergency financial manager, likely cuts coming to the City of Flint Police Department later this year. If elected county commissioner, what more do you see the county doing to not only help Flint, but other communities throughout the county that might be struggling with public safety issues?
Well, that's one of the things that I think that we have to look at in terms of the shared service piece. We have municipalities that are so close to I guess, inner help between the departments. I think that's one of the ways that we can look at it, because we have limited resources all around the county, and whatever way we can come about or bring about an effective public safety piece where we can work on a collaborative basis, I would definitely be in support of that. And I think that goes back to what I was talking about. We really need to start looking at shared services where we don't take away the identity of any municipality, but being able to share those resources when we have the opportunities.
Thank you.
All right, George Moss, you have a question for Councilman Nolden.
Yes, I'm feeling like George Bush here in terms of no new taxes. I do want to say that what politicians tend to do is take money out of one kitty and put it somewhere else. And now they're talking about putting a 19-cent tax on our gasoline because people want to pay for the roads, but we've already paid for the roads. And my question is, what does the county commission do to make sure that the voice of the citizens of Genesee County is being heard, because we don't have the tax base we don't have the monetary base to pay for these additional taxes. So what do you do to kind of make sure we're being represented in Lansing on the tax question?
Thank you, George.
Oh, that's a tough question. I think one of the things that we have to do, we have to be strong advocates with our state elected officials to make sure that they understand the plight of the different counties in and around the state of Michigan, but more importantly here in Genesee County. And I think one of the things that we have to do is just be real diligent in how we spend the money once it comes here, because we have certain areas in the county that I think are in a lot worse shape than other areas, but those dollars for those areas are not going to be allocated for the next couple of years. So I think we need to be a little bit more fair and equitable as we move forward in looking at where we put our resources at related to the road situation.
Okay, I think we're all caught up with round one. Back to our Genesee County Board of Commissioners District 1 forum. It is for an open seat, the one vacated by Omar Sims, who is going on to run for the State House of Representatives. And we're in for round two here, and our political pundits, Paul Rozycki, George Moss, and Jason Cooper from Flint's News Talk, 1470 WFNT. I haven't said that in a little while. The candidates this hour are Bishop Bernadel Jefferson and Flint City Councilman Bryant Nolden, and we'll pick up round two. First question will go to Bernadel, and Paul Rozycki, you have the question.
All right. Some 30 years ago, Genesee County considered a county executive and turned it down. Right now, 4 counties in Michigan do have a county executive form. What is your view of the county executive, and should Genesee County look at that as the way of streamlining our county government?
I don't think that we should go to a county executive. It was turned down 30 years ago. A lot of things have changed, but a lot of things have stayed the same. And so therefore, I don't feel like it would be instrumental to this community to have a county executive. It's too big for one person to handle that big county.
Mr. Nolan, same question goes to you. You have 90 seconds. If you hear the bell, you got 15 seconds to finish.
I as well would really have some reservations to have a county executive at this particular time. I think that we have a very good county commission right now. I think they're doing a fantastic job, and just looking at the governmental structure that we have in this county right now, I think that we're doing some things in the right direction. We definitely don't want an emergency manager on the county level, but I think that we're doing things right now on the county level that are right and in order. So at this time, I would say no, I would not be in support of the county executive.
Thank you, both of you.
All right, Jason Cooper from WFNT, you have the next question.
I want to ask a little bit about your thoughts on education in Genesee County. Flint Schools made news last week when they announced their budget deficit, nearly double what they had originally thought, from just over $10 million to nearly $20 million. Clio Schools.
I'm sorry, you're dropping, so I haven't heard all the questions. So would you start over?
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about education throughout Genesee County. Flint schools made news last week when their budget deficit was nearly doubled from $10 million to $20 million. Some other school districts throughout the county are having financial troubles of their own, Clio, Mount Morris. What do you see for the future of education throughout Genesee County and some of these troubled school districts?
All right, let's go to Councilman Nolden first for this 90 seconds. I'm going to try and alternate who goes first and who goes last so somebody doesn't say, you always stuck me with the first spot.
This one is particularly dear to me because I'm a Flint community school teacher, and this definitely affects the educational system here in the city of Flint. I think because of state funding cuts and some
That way you can.
problems in terms of how money has been spent coming into some of the school districts, we really need to look at how we move forward, because I think with the population shift in a lot of the public schools, you're seeing a large increase now with the charter schools, and especially in the city of Flint. In the city of Flint, about 70% of the students in the city of Flint attend charter schools. So I think we have to rethink some of the things that we're doing in the Flint public schools. I think one of the steps to move back and bring students back here is to look at the community education piece, and that's something that they're in the process of doing right now. When we had community education piece in the city of Flint, it was a blueprint for other areas around the country. So I think moving forward, we have to rethink how and in which way we do our educational piece. But I think community education would be one way to kind of bring that back, and that's in other municipalities as well too. We don't have the programs that we once had, so that's something we need to look at.
All right. Bishop Jefferson, you have 90 seconds, same question.
What I think about 30 years ago, when in Flint you could get the best education in the United States. And it was because of how we took and used. Many of our public schools right now don't have the books. They don't have the things that we need. They're not regulated. The charter schools are not regulated like the public schools are, where they have to have a standard in order to teach our children, to prepare them, to ready them for the next level. Our dropout rate, why do we have the dropout rate? We're closing so many schools, so are we taking and making better schools because we're closing? Yes, we have had a decline in the enrollment in school, but why have we had a decline? What is missing? We can't fix it until we find out what's missing, what's wrong with what we're doing. There are a lot of things wrong, but nobody stopped to evaluate the problem. And if you don't never evaluate the problem, you can't have the right solution for it. And so therefore, we have to do evaluation of our school system, what we're doing, where we come from, how do we mess up, how do we get so bad, and what do we have to do to change to make it better. We can come back. We will come back, but we have to evaluate and work on the problem.
Hey, George Moss, you have the next question, and it goes first to Bernadel.
One of the problems we have is the lack of finance. Our tax base is eroding, and the taxes are not there. What expertise do you have, and what do you think is going to require for you to do what you do when you don't have the tax base, and that is to make do with limited resources, do more with less? So what is the background that you have, or anything you've done with finance, fixing budgets, that allow you to come in and do the resource management?
I laugh because I'm a mother of 10. And if you ever have to have the resources and just because General Motors closed down and we lost hope when they tore them down, didn't mean that we had to find other resources. And our town is evolving into a college town and a medical town. And so therefore we have to make it enticing to bring other businesses into our community. We can't bank on General Motors anymore, but we can bank on the resources that we have. And so we have to take what we have and begin to utilize it. Do we have good medical facilities? Yes. We have top core medical facilities. So we take and bank on that and build on that and begin to educate and bring in more educators and build in more places in order to have medical facilities. And I see that we have one for cancer. We've got a medical center that has this top notch. McLaren has built a resource where we can come in and stay if you have a medical problem. So we're building things in order to bring and subsidize and make a change, not lean on what we had, but begin to build on what we got right now and on our future.
Thank you very much. We're going to round 3 and start the questions with Paul Rozycki. Oh, I'm sorry. Going back and forth always rattles me. If I do this only once today, it's a good day.
I think one of the things we have in place, we have some foundations and other folks in this community that we can partner with. We have to look at outside the box because we don't have the tax base that we once have. You know, we were a one-horse town for so many years, General Motors. And as General Motors went, the city of Flint went. Now we have to diversify. And, you know, we have the foundations. We have Hurley Medical Center. We have McLaren. We have Genesee. We have to partner with the University of Michigan, Kettering, Baker College. So we have to be able to partner and look at partnerships that we can have to enhance some of the educational opportunities that we have here. I still believe that you still get the best quality education right in the Flint community schools. I still think that it is the best choice because that baccalaureate program that we have at Southwestern Academy is on par with some of the out county schools as well. So I still think that we have a lot of resources here, but it's just being able to tap into them and being able to partner with other organizations to be able to bring about a change. You know, one of the things that we're doing now is with the Crim Foundation and with this community school coordinator position that they're bringing. And this is the start to kind of bring back community education in the public schools. And I think that's a start because we have another organization that's partnering with the Flint Community Schools moving forward.
All right, now we move on to into round 3, and Paul Rozycki has the question, and it goes first to Councilman Nolden.
All right. Over the years, in recent years especially, there's been conflict between the board and major department heads, the sheriff, the treasurer, county clerk, and a few others, and often lawsuits that have resulted in some costly litigation. As a member of the County Board of Commissioners, what would you do to reduce that conflict and avoid those kind of lawsuits?
Well, I think one of the things you have to do is you have to agree to disagree. You're not going to always agree on everything, but you have to have those conversations take place where that we won't have these conflicts that are out in public. You know, the different conflicts that we can have those conversations behind the scenes, work out whatever differences we have. So when we come out and we have to vote on something, we have a common voice. And I think that's the way that we can start to see a change in the dynamics of the commission. One of the things that I would love to see is more of a collaborative with the city of Flint and the county, because for a number of years, it's always been the county and the city. But Flint resides in Genesee County. So I think that we have to be able to build those partnerships. And that's one thing that I've been able to do since I've been on city council. One thing that I've done is each one of the department heads, I know them and I talk with them, but I go into each one of those departments and I meet and talk with the people that work there, because to be quite honest, a lot of times the department heads don't know what's going on. It's the people that's been in those departments for a long time. So I try to build relationships that way so that when we have issues and have problems, you'll be able to go and be able to discuss those issues and try to work out for the betterment of the community.
Mr. Nolden, the next question goes to Bernadel, and I'm not going to forget Bernadel because she's got 10 kids, and I'd probably get a whooping.
To that question, what can we do? We have to hear what the people are saying. The people are why we are elected. The people are why we are here. And so therefore, when there's a problem, many times litigations come up because nobody hears what the other person is saying. And so therefore, we have to sit down and listen to what is the problem. Could it have been avoided? Who's at fault? And can it be corrected? And many times it could be corrected by just sitting down talking and on a one-on-one. But then when you don't, then that's what the court system is for, to go to, so the judge can make a decision who is right or who are wrong. And many times because those that are in office, those that are in authority say, well, I'm right and you're wrong. No, you're not always right. nor are you always wrong, but there has to be a time of communication. And when communication is broke down, the relationship is broke down, and problems arise.
Okay, Jason Cooper, you have the next question for Bernadel.
Bishop Jefferson, I'll try and make sure that this is comes through loud and clear. A lot of has been made about water rates in the city of Flint and needs for infrastructure repair. But throughout the rest of Genesee County, the rates seem to be fairly reasonable. A lot of people moving from the city of Flint to other communities within Genesee County. Genesee County Drain Commissioner just purchased some pipeline from the city of Flint. Can Genesee County do more to help the city of Flint with their water issues and maybe some fixes to infrastructure?
I believe Genesee County could help more, but there has to be those that are in leadership position that can care enough about the people in the city. Right now, the water rates are so high, people cannot afford to pay their water bill. People are losing their children because they cannot pay their water bill and their water is turned off. We do have the federal government. In Detroit, they went to the federal government in order to get relief for the people that cannot afford to pay their water bill. Why is our water rate so high? They said the water rates were going up so high because of the pipeline, because Detroit was charging us so much. Now that Detroit is not charging us, so what's the problem now? And their study going up higher. Can you get blood from a turnip? No. And they're still going up higher and higher, and there is no reason for it. We have a stock of money in the water fund. They borrowed from the water fund. Why they won't pay it back? Why they won't give back what they've taken away so they can help we don't have a shortage of money. We just have a shortage of management of money.
All right, same question for Mr. Nolden.
I definitely think there's opportunities for the county to partner with the city of Flint, especially moving forward with this KWA pipeline. We have a deficiency in some of the infrastructure in the city of Flint, and we're really shorthanded in the water and sewer department. Right now, I have a water main break on North and Gillespie right now, and it's taken them 2 days to do it. I have 14 residents that were without water all last night, and they're still without water right now because they need to fix it. So our infrastructure is so old that I think there's opportunities where we can partner with some of that. With the water rates, that's real dear to me as well, because the water rates are ridiculous. We have seniors on fixed income that can't afford their water rate. I had a young lady today call me, Mrs. Coda, who stays out in the trailer park off of Webster Road. Her water bill is $94 a month. And she said, Mr. Nolan, I'm just not going to be able to pay the $94 because I'm on a fixed income. So we have to think outside the box and figure out a way to be able to curb these water rates or stabilize them. And one of the ways that we initially tried to bring forth with the emergency manager is the $3.9 million that we just received from the sale of that pipeline, is to actually put that into the general fund to try to streamline or try to maintain the water rates at the level that they are.
Thank you, sir. We go on to George Moss. You have the final question for this round, and we start with Bryant Nolden.
Yes, Mr. Nolden, I'm really concerned about raising taxes and finding monies through going back to the tax base and things of that sort. I think we have to find some way to use the resources based on what is already on the table. What I want to know, and because I'm looking for a more activist kind of county commission, and I want to know, what do you see as, how do you get these rooms? You got the city in one room, you got the county in one room, you got the state in one room. How do you get persons in the same room so that this pipeline is in place so that we can fix these problems before you need to raise the tax base? I don't see anybody talking to each other, anybody on different levels.
I think that's one of the things that we have to do. We have to build coalitions and partnerships. And I think maybe in the past certain people did not communicate with one another. One thing that is a strong attribute for me, I'm a people's person. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna talk, and I can talk to anybody, and we can sit down at a table and we can have that conversation, because it's going to be a very tough conversation. Because if you look at the city of Flint and what's happening in terms of the tax base and these higher water rates and higher street light assessments and all, I think in a way, we're starting to see gentrification taking place in the city of Flint. And if we're not careful, the whole city is going to be gentrified because a lot of folks can't afford to live in the area where they're living at. And we're seeing a lot of property being abandoned and people are just leaving. So I think we have to have those tough conversations moving forward, but we have to have that dialogue. And if we don't have that dialogue and we don't start talking about it, the problem is just going to keep existing and it's going to get worse. So we need to really make sure we have people at the table and start to communicate with them. And one of the things that I pledge to do once I'm elected the First District County Commissioner is to have those conversations with the state officials, with the city, and with the county as well.
All right, same question goes to Bernadel Jefferson.
I agree that we have to build relationships, but you can't build relationships going into the relationship thinking, I'm the right one. I'm the only one that got the answers, and nobody else has the answers. And so, therefore, you don't start building relationships when you get in office. You start building relationship before you get to the office. And that's what I've done. I've built relationship all over, not only Flint and Genesee County, but all over the state of Michigan. All over, even to Washington, I built relationships with those so that we know who has what. Many times, some of the people are doing the same thing, and nobody knows it. So you start reinventing the wheel. When the wheel is already invented, all you need to know is how to make it roll. And so therefore, when you begin to build relationships, partnerships, then you can take the wheel and make it roll together. We need each other. No man is an island, and so we can't do it by ourselves. The city can't do it by itself. The state can't do it by itself, and the county can't do it by itself. But when you form relationships and partnerships, and you know what I have to offer. I might have the rubber to go on the wheel, you might have the spokes to go on the wheel, but we put it together and we'll make that wheel roll. And that's what it's going to take, to know that we have to come together in order to make it work. They did it. I passed by Subway today, and there's a donut shop and a Subway shop in the same building. They had to come together in order to survive.
Thank you, Bernadel. We have Bernadel Jefferson and Bryant Nolden, and we're up to the closing statements. You have 90 seconds each. Bernadel gave the first opening statement, so we'll give the first closing statement to Councilman Nolden.
Thank you very much for allowing me to participate in this forum. I'm sorry that I was a little late, but I'm here now. Just a little background on me. I am a Flint Central graduate. I graduated in 1983 from Flint Central. I'm a graduate of Central State University, and I'm a 2013 graduate of the University of Michigan with a Master's in Public Administration. I've been at Flint Community School for the last 23 years, Flint City Councilman since 2009. I also sit on the Genesee County Land Bank Board, and I'm very proud to sit on a new subcommittee that they have at the county for the Animal Control Committee member as well. I've been endorsed by the UAW Region 1C, and I've just recently got my endorsement letter from the Greater Flint AFL-CIO and also from the Natsmere section of the Sierra Club. I just received that endorsement as well. I'm a very active community member. People see me in and around the community doing things. I'm not much of a talker. I'm more of a doer. So, you won't hear me making a whole lot of speeches, but you'll see me out in the community trying to get the job done. And I'm a candidate for the First District County Commissioner's race, and I'm hoping that I can get your support on August 5th. Thank you.
All right, and thank you. And same 90 seconds goes to you for your closing statements, Bernadel Jefferson.
First of all, Tom, I want to thank you for having us and caring enough to educate the people about who we are and what our views are. Can we tell the whole story in a half an hour, or 2 hours, or a day? No, we cannot. But one thing for sure, I've been fighting in this community for over 20 years. I have an education of college at Baker's. I was educated right here in Genesee County. And I was thinking about when we were talking about the questions about the colleges. When I was in college a few years ago, it was Baker's, and there were Mott Junior College. Now it's over 15 colleges in the city in Genesee County. Why is it that? Because they seen a need to begin to expand on what we had. Not what we don't have, what we have lost, but how do we go forth? How do we grow? How do we improve? And what happened was, why did I get in this race? I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. Very famous woman, Fannie Lou Hamer, said she was sick and tired. Well, I was sick and tired of getting everything to the door. And when it got to the table, somebody dropped the ball. And so I want to be able to be at the table, to pick up the ball, carry the thoughts and the vision of the community to promote us back or further than what we were before. Thank you. I am Bernadel Jefferson, and I am running for County Commissioner for the 1st District of Genesee County. Thank you.
I want to thank you both for participating in this. A lot of people don't pay a lot of attention to primary races, but as you well know, in Genesee County, very often that is the race. And so we're trying to draw a little more attention to it, so hopefully people will show up in August for that primary, which is what these forums are all about. Councilman Bryant Nolden, thank you. And Bishop Bernadel Jefferson, thank you as well.